Okay, good afternoon once again. So now we're talking about cybersecurity tools. You see, in the field of cybersecurity, it is very, very important. It is as important as the field itself. You can't talk about cybersecurity without talking about the tools. You hear sometimes when people tell you that, well, what are you into? You tell the person, I'm into cybersecurity. The person will tell you, oh, is it not just about tools? Because tools are like very, very important. If you claim to be good at cybersecurity and you've not used some tools, then or you don't know how to use some particular set of tools, then truth is that you are not actually good in cybersecurity. There was a time someone asked one question about script kiddies when we were talking about the different types of hackers that is it hackers? Yes, the different types of hackers that we have, black and grey. Somebody was asking, okay, what about script kiddies? Then when I was answering the question, I made response. I made mention of something. I said that script kiddies most of the time they make use of already made tools. Now, why something like that? That's to tell you that there are some persons in the field of cybersecurity that they don't even use already made tools. They invent, like they bring their own tools to the game or to the war front. You get, they bring their own tools to the game. So when we're talking about cybersecurity, we're talking about tools. Like it's very, very important. Now, I don't really need to explain. Okay, I need to explain what do we mean by tools when we say tools. When you want to go to the farm now, I talk about farm tools. That's cutlass and whatever it is that you use to make your work easier. Same thing applies to cybersecurity. All those applications, software programs that are used to protect. The slide says protect, but not just protect. Sometimes you use to protect, sometimes you use to like simulate attack. Yes. When I mean simulate, I mean you try to replicate how an attack is going to go. Moving on to the next. Different cybersecurity tools. Please can go through all of them yourself. You can go through all of them yourself. But I would like to dwell on some. Antivirus and malware software, we talked about it in previous class. Firewalls, IDS, IPS. We'll look at all of them extensively later. Penetration testing tools. These penetration testing tools, that's where I want to draw your attention to, because that is exactly what we are talking about in this class. Although we are going to talk about a lot of things. Yeah, like me talking about IDS, me talking about firewalls. But this particular class is concentrated on what? On penetration testing tools. Penetration testing tools. I need someone to put me through. Like you explain to us as if we don't understand. Like just make it brief, like in a minute. Push through what antivirus and anti-malware software, what they are. I'll call on anybody. Please, you can raise up your hand if you think you can answer. Anybody? Just raise up your hand. Okay. Kenshin. Kenshin, please, you can speak. Kenshin. I don't know if that's your real name, but please. What are antivirus and anti-malware software? Because when you are called, you can just unmute your mic and you speak. Okay, he's not saying anything. Let's hear from D. Brendan. Brendan, unmute your mic and speak. What do we mean by antivirus and anti-malware software?
Hello everyone. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, good afternoon.
Okay, good afternoon.
Yes.
Antivirus and anti-malware softwares that are installed on endpoint systems to detect and analyze the signature of every file on that system, so as to identify a malicious file or a program on that particular system.
Yeah, thank you very much. Still open your mic. You made mention of something. You said something like signature. What do you mean by that?
when I say signature, a file signature, that's like what identifies a file. Um, we have various
Okay.
um, malware signatures um, on a database. So these are known viruses, and so what an antivirus does is it compares the file on your system to the database or the file signature, that's the strings made up of in that particular file, to the database that it has of viruses, and it does a comparison and determines which file is actually malicious and which is not.
Okay, yeah, thank you, D brother. I clearly understand. Can like try to like keep it short and simple. Emphasis on the word simple. You get me? So that the reason why I'm asking is because I will not explain it again. Unless if as you said something, I want to pick on that thing that you said, then talk about it. So that others will be able to understand properly. The way you said signature and you didn't tell us what signature is. You may know, I may know,
Oh,
but the next person might not really know.
all right.
Did you get it?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, thank you very much, D brother. Yeah, he has already given like a perfect explanation of what antivirus and anti-malware software, what they are. Yeah, and he made mention of something. I like that when he mentioned the word signature. I picked on that because it's actually very very um important. Now, I'm not assuming we are masters here. I'm assuming we've undergone the introduction to cybersecurity. So there are some basic things that we already know. Definition of antivirus, we already know. Anti-malware, we already know. We know what the malware is. So when they say anti, so it's something that's like against the malware. So we already know that. But then I want to pick on something that is like pulling us out of the normal, like what we don't know. So now he made mention of signature. Let me just quickly dwell on that before we move to the next. So now let's say in the context of virus detection, let's say you want to detect virus. First of all, we know what viruses are. We talked about it in the previous class. What viruses are. Please, you need to understand the difference between a virus, then a malware, then a Trojan horse. I explained all those things in the previous class. Trojan horse and the likes of that. You should know that the umbrella name for all of them is malware. So any software that is malicious, yeah, we can class it under malware. Now, when there is need to detect virus, those signatures, or you can say five signatures, those signatures particularly, they refer to like the unique pattern, the pattern of that file, or we can say the code that can be used to identify a specific malware or virus. There's this particular, if you are into computer programming, like if you're into computer for a while, there's this particular line of code they used to write this virus that used to test antivirus. That's if you install antivirus and you want to test if the antivirus is working, you can actually create a virus yourself. You just create it. The virus is not harmful. You just create it yourself. Then you test the antivirus that you have on your system. If your antivirus is able to detect it or quarantine it, then you know that what your antivirus is working. But if it's not able to do it, forget it. You're using rubbish. What you're using is just nonsense. You should be able to detect it. So that one is not. So that stuff now, that file that you've created, the file that you've created, it has a particular signature. Sorry for using the word signature. It has a particular pattern. Yes, that's a particular pattern. So now, you see these signatures that you talked about, that D. Braden talked about. They're actually used by all these antivirus software to detect and identify all those malicious files. So, moving down to firewall, in the simplest of terms, firewall, just imagine you're in a building, then the fire is burning. Now, fire is burning in your own room. Sorry. Another person's room, not your room. Sorry, it's not a network problem. It's a call that came. I would try to put my phone on DND. Sorry. Okay. eh, okay. Yeah. Sorry about this little break. So I was saying something about firewall. So let's say you're in a room now, and that room there's another room that is burning close by, but you don't someone does not want that fire to come into your own room. Then there's a barricade. There's like a wall placed to prevent the fire from extending to your room. That's the same way you can use to understand firewall. There is damage coming from somewhere. They don't want that damage to extend to your system. Then the firewall is set to prevent what those malicious whatever it is. It could be packets, it could be software, or whatever it is from extending to your own system. Please mind you, when I mean system, I don't mean computer system alone. I don't mean laptop alone. It extends to a whole lot of things. So we have IDS, we have IPS. Now you can, if you want comprehensive explanation, you can always look at the slide I've sent. So you can see antivirus, you can see types of antivirus, you can always check it. Don't want your assignment, one of your assignments will be related to one of all these viruses. You're going to create one yourself, but I don't want to tell you the assignment for now. Moving down to the next one, firewall. I already explained firewall for you. Now, if you need like a more comprehensive explanation, you can go to the material. Go to the material. We have IDS, we have IPS. For some of you that would write, if you are going to, some of you will write exams that has to do with cybersecurity later on. There are some terminologies that there are some things that you must know. Yes, because I know some participant of is it called to during the program or after the program, they went to write some cybersecurity exam for whatever reasons. So the reason why I'm saying that is because you need to know some. Don't just think it's only about practical. You may be good in the practical aspect, but I would suggest that be good in both practical and the theory aspect. So it's good to know some things like this IDS now, IPS. Now these are like systems. One is used for detection. The other one is used for what? Prevention. Kind of explains it all. If you break it down, intrusion, then detection is a system. We all know what system is. Intrusion, then prevention, then we have a system. Like that, you'll be able to understand what they do. Now let's break it down in such a way that um, that we can understand. Generally, both of them generally they monitor. So now intrusion detection, like it says, to detect. Intrusion prevention, what? To prevent. So for further breakdown or further understanding, you can always check through and see what it does in full detail. Now penetration testing tool, this is like our main area. This is like our main area. Before we proceed, let me ask someone here if the person has ever used any of all these tools before. Just anyone from what you can see on the screen currently. Please raise up your hand if you've used any one of these tools. So look at what you can see on the screen, or you have the resources, you have the slide with you. Look at this particular page, page 10. Have you used any of all these tools before? Anybody? Yeah, Metu. Metu, let me hear from you. Short and brief, please. Metu, unmute your mic. Daisy, please, let's hear from you. Unmute your mic and talk. Daisy is also not saying anything. Okay.
Can you hear me now? Okay.
Yes.
I've used this mmap. I've used it
Okay.
to
What did you use
scan.
map for?
I used it to scan a website while I was learning
Which website?
cybersecurity.
Which
I
website
used
is
it
that?
to scan Unizik website that time. So we now found some vulnerabilities.
Did they give you the permission to do that?
No, we are just learning. But we didn't say it out. We just did it to learn.
Okay.
It's not as if
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much. Olumo, please let's hear from you. Olumo, which one have you used? Olumo, which one have you used? Are you there? Okay. Please, when I unmute you, please try to just like be ready in case you've raised up your hand, and just be ready. I may just call you in case you raise up your hand. So please be ready. So don't let me just remind you that unmute yourself, please. Just like that. Okay. Last person, Sonkade. Sonkade. Okay, Sonkade is not here. Okay. So what are penetration testing tools? Now, these are tools designed to access the security of computer systems, network, web applications by what? Simulating attack. You see what I said at the very beginning? Simulating an attack from a malicious actor. What it means is that let me say Mrs. Adezi. Let's assume she's one notorious hacker from Japan. How is she going to behave in real life? The way she's going to behave, let's say we are the ethical hackers, we already know the difference between white, gray, and black. So when I say ethical hacker, we already know what I mean by that. We are going to try to behave like that's what I mean by simulate an attack. So we are going to assume that we are hackers. Like I used to say, most people teach they explain cybersecurity to people without stating the fundamentals. I think the fundamentals people should know is, apart from knowing the normal cybersecurity stuff, is the laws or the rules and regulations that come with all this. Okay. I'm not saying compulsorily you must seek permission, but what I'm saying is ideally, in an ideal situation, please and please and please, if you are going to pen test any site, any system or any network, please seek permission. It's very, very necessary. Please, very, very necessary. Just like Mrs. Adeze said, they didn't use it for anything, but we never can tell. You never can tell. If it's for learning purposes, quite all right. Okay, I'm just like letting you know. You know, when you watch all these cybersecurity videos, they give like that disclaimer at the very beginning that whatever it is I'm teaching is for educational purposes. So same thing applies. Okay, we already talked about what penetration testing tools are. Like they are those tools that we use when you want to do as if, let me say, you want to do as if you want to do that bad thing. But the essence of using it is not to do the bad thing actually. It's just to let the company or whoever is hiring you, to let them know that this is the vulnerabilities that you're exposed to. Do you get it? You are not meant to exploit that vulnerability. Let me give you an example. There was this company that I worked with then. Now we were tasked with the responsibility of getting vulnerability. I'm not going to mention the name of the company. Now, after getting the vulnerability, in the contracts we signed, we're not meant to exploit it. We were actually behaving like hackers here. that we behave like hackers. We were the ethical hackers, but right. So we're not meant to exploit that vulnerability. We're just meant to see them, then report them. Now, at the end of the day, the monthly remuneration for it was not okay. Then I was just starting, but there were guys that were like very, very good hackers. And they were, sorry, very, very good ethical hackers. Please, let's put the word ethical there. Very, very good ethical hackers. And those guys were not comfortable with the pay. You get it? Now, the temptation was there to exploit that stuff. If you've worked on some cybersecurity project, there's a project that they will tell you the amount that they're going to quantify that vulnerability. They will tell you that if this vulnerability is exploited, this is what you're going to lose. Just like that first class, I was asking you, what is the value of your data if exposed to dark web? If you're going to sell it in the dark web, you get it? So all these things, they actually have their value. So we're seeing vulnerabilities that were worth millions, no jokes, millions. And our monthly pay was not equivalent to that. You get it? So it means that even if we just happen to derail a bit, let's say, oh, I am not doing this, I'm not following the right step again. I want to exploit this into my own benefit. The company is going to lose a lot of money. No jokes. Okay, that's that and that. Before I move on, I'm sure some of us have had instances of, I think this will happen back then. Instances of, dial this one. You're going to get 90 gig. I don't know. I think they call it cheats. Yes, cheats. Cheat. All those times of cheats, MTN cheat, Airtel cheat. I like of that. I don't really want to explain the nitty-gritty of that scenario. But if you understand cybersecurity well, then you're going to understand what's going on. Like how those cheats normally come out. Then it will come out, then within a short period of time, they'll block it. Yeah. We already talked about the vulnerability before. Okay, let's move on. So we have network scanning tools, vuln assessment tools, web app testing tools. Madam Adesi has used Nmap. During the course of this class, we use Nmap, we use Nessus, we would use Bobsu to use Zap a lot. Now, you guys will even use a whole lot. I may not mention all of them, but you will discover that I may not mention one, but you discover that it is actually essential in achieving a particular task. Take for example, now you want to run, you want to scan for, let's say, SQLi. SQLi is a kind of vulnerability. That's SQL then I. This SQL injection you're seeing here, yeah. So you want to scan for it. Now, one person might be like, okay, let's scan for it manually. Let's do it manually. Another person might be like, let's use SQL map. SQL map is a tool that is used for it. So just know, any tool that you're using to behave like an hacker, like a real hacker, any tool that you're using, just know that it's a penetration testing tool. This thing is quite simple. Simple in the sense that the word is actually being broken, can be broken down to get the meaning, the original meaning. Penetration testing. We want to penetrate like what the malicious actors. Let's proceed, please. So we have all others. You can read through all this to see what we have. So this one now, this reporting and analysis tool, sometimes people don't talk about it. If you're in cybersecurity, you need to be good in report writing also. That you need to know how to report whatever it is you've seen or you've detected. Not just to use the tool and do whatever. You don't know how to write English. You don't know how to write in good English. No, you need to be able to present it well. So that's where this report and analysis tool come into the picture. Now, some cybersecurity guys, they don't know how to use the tools. They are not good in penetration testing. But trust me, when it comes to sorry, 1 minute. Okay. So as I was saying, when it comes to reporting, they are good at it. So they collect gifts that have to do with cybersecurity. That have to do with like reporting, writing report, and what have you. So you can, during the course of this program, know the aspects that you really want to do. Then you pursue it with full force. So let's proceed. Okay, moving further. This is talking about VPNs. VPNs. Mind you, I didn't talk about CM, not like I didn't see it, I saw it here, but you can always read it up. Now, this VPN is a very interesting concept. Even before you came to this cybersecurity class, you must have used VPN at one point or the other. Let me ask anybody, the person should just put us through. What does VPN mean? Can the person try to explain to us what VPN, what it means? Anybody? You raise up your hand if you know you want to answer. What do you understand of VPN? Have you used one? Which one did you use? Anybody? Okay, Decent Grace. Let's hear from you. Decent Grace.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Can you hear me?
Good afternoon.
Okay, sir. Sir,
Yes, I can hear you.
VPN means private network. The use of VPN is to secure your connection from being exposed to maybe threats outside as you are browsing, as you are surfing the net, and VPN protects your data, protects your IP address. You are not exposed to anything that is happening out there. Like me, I've used Cyber Ghost VPN to shield myself from other stuff outside like that when I was trying to access dark web after the first lesson we had. Hello.
That's some serious thing here. Okay, yes, I got you. Interesting stuff. When you say you use VPN, I had to ask you, what did you use the VPN for?
Okay.
Okay, I understand what you said. Very, very nice stuff. Thank you, Decent.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay, that's Decent. Said he has used it when he went to check. I don't know what asked him to go and check dark web store, but I don't know. But anyways, he said he has used it. So that's Decent. Let's hear from GIO. Sorry. GIO. What do you understand by VPN? GIO. GIO is not here. Okay, let's proceed. VPN, like Decent already said, he used it. It's a technology that's secure encrypted connection. Now, ordinarily, the way you browse the internet, let's say you want to browse through a website, ordinarily it uses HTTPS. That's a protocol. Now, that S that is at the back is like hypertext transfer protocol, but the S there is telling you about the security. Now, the point I'm trying to explain is when you browse the internet here, you use a particular website, it uses HTTPS. There is SSL/TLS kind of encryption. SSL is secure socket. I don't want to go so far. I'm trying to bring it down in such a way that you understand it. Okay, now my point is that it doesn't transfer data in plain text. You get it doesn't transfer data or packets. They don't move in plain text. They move in encrypted mode. They're always encrypted. But that's not even the sweetest aspect. The sweetest aspect of it is that to add like extra layer of security, say your IP address, your whatever it is that's being registered on the server, you need like a VPN for it. Now, what VPN does is to add like extra layer of security to you to give you, that's, let's say you are browsing the internet, you want to send something, you want to visit a particular website, you want to visit, I'm sure we know websites or web servers, pick information. That's, let's call those information like our digital footprints. They pick information from us or from our devices. Now, if you want to shield all those things, let's say you want to block all those things, you don't want them to be easily accessed, or you want to remain anonymous while doing something, so maybe no one can track you, VPN comes to play. Now, where Tor browser comes in is that Tor browser is like a different kind of browser whereby it gives you that VPN access, but it's not giving you like the ordinary VPNs. Now, Tor browser it gives you like 3 layers of encryption. Now, if you look at the symbol for Tor browser, let me see if I can fetch it out. Oh my God. I'm trying to load up my own Tor browser, but it's not loading up. It's taking time. I'll try for the last time. Okay, my Tor browser is not loading up, but let me just explain what I want to. Now, look at my screen. You see the symbol for Tor browser. I was trying to load it up, but I think it's taking time to load up. Look at the symbol. You see that it has it's like an onion. The Tor actually means the onion router. That's most of the time when they want to access dark web, that's what they use to access it. They don't use ordinary browsers to do it. But ordinary browsers will not be indexed. They will not index those pages for you. So now, see now, this guy, what it does basically is to give you, look at these 3 lines. If you can see the cursor is showing line 1, line 2, line 3, giving like the idea of an onion. So it's going to give you 1 layer of encryption, another layer of encryption, then another layer of encryption. That's like 3 layers of encryption. That's how they call it the onion router. So it's routing you to whatever it is where that are going to, but it's giving you 3 layers. So that's that about VPN. So just know that when it comes to like the master of it, or let's say you want to do something and you want everything over covered, you can quickly run to Tor. You can even install it now. Or this thing, when it loads up completely, we are going to use it, but it may take time. Okay. 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 Now look at the screen. What you have there is that's Tor browser. Now we're going to use it. We are going to use it to check. We use it to check our IP address. Now, before we even check our IP address, we're going to use our normal browser to check our IP address. Then we're going to use this thing to check our address. Tor browser check our IP address. So while all those ones are loading in the background, we'll proceed with what we have. Now, moving out from VPN, we've already talked about VPN, talked about the functions of the different VPNs that we have and what have you. So now we'll move straight to slide 28. Other information there, you can always read them up. They are kind of like simple. They are simple and very, very easy to understand. But now, please move to slide 28, where we have hypervisors. Hypervisors. Very important. Okay, so we don't waste much of our time waiting for this thing to load. What we are going to do is we'll close it up. It's taking forever to load. Even when I try to search for something, it will still take like a lot of time to go. Let's just wait for it. I'll show you the different layers of encryption. That's like we said. Okay, good. That's already done. Now let me search for bad dogs. Bad dogs. Now, for what you can see on the screen, ordinarily, if it were to be Google that I used, it would just, there's no like additional layer. Ordinarily, this HTTPS that you're seeing here shows that it's already like in a secured layer form. So this S is like talking about it. So if talking about it being secure, so if anybody were to eavesdrop on this packet, the way I sent this packet to the server, that server, or no, this DuckDuckGo, this particular search engine is DuckDuckGo. So if the way I sent this thing to this DuckDuckGo server now, if someone were to intercept this thing, the person will not see it in plain text, the person will see it in encrypted form, but that's just one layer of security. Looking at this thing that you're seeing here, you can see, look at the Tor circuit. Went from Germany, this is our browser. Our browser is in Nigeria. That's if I'm in Nigeria. It went from Germany to Latvia. You can see the way the IP address started changing from 176 to Latvia to Netherlands to what DuckDuckGo server. This is where DuckDuckGo server is. I don't know where the server is situated. Before we now go all this result. So now, if anybody at all, if let's say we search for something bad and the government they come looking for us, now they now ask DuckDuckGo that this person wants to get this IP address. What DuckDuckGo is going to see is this 192.7, 2.1, 6.182. This is what they are going to see. It is now if they can now reroute it to Latvia, reroute it to this, but it's like quite a lot. So this, you can see this sign here is telling us that apart from this HTTPS that we have that is secured layer, this guy is actually giving us 3 additional layers of security and encryption. So from here, we can now be seeing different things. If you want to see sites that are not even good, that are not meant to be indexed on normal search engine, I'm going to see them here. So we'll close this one down immediately. Moving straight to hypervisors. Sorry, I saw Christian. Christian, I wasn't up here before. Let's see. Christian, please up here again. Let me know. You want to say something? Christian. Yeah, please. You were not up here before. All right.
No, I didn't want to say anything. I left the meeting for a bit and I came back and I was muted. So I was trying to indicate so you mute me just in case you want me to say something or something else. That's it.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. So we move straight to hypervisors. Okay, it's already 4 o'clock. Before we go for like the short break will be for marking of attendance, and probably any question that we have. Let me just quickly tell you what it is about. So we are going to be installing VMs. VMs, they're like virtual machines. Virtual machines. When I say, if you notice the first class, I was saying something about machine, or I talk about system. If I want to refer to like them, say computer. So now virtual machines they are okay. Like I said, now if you want to get meaning of words, you can always break them down. Virtual, then machine. Virtual means it's not real. Machine is like a general term for laptop, desktop, system, phone, any device, any device or system. I like using the word system, so sometimes they use the word machine. to it gives like a better term for it, anything at all. So now virtual machine is like think like you have a laptop, but the laptop is not real, or you have a laptop in your pocket, or you have a laptop somewhere. Now hypervisors, they are component of virtualization technology, allowing multiple operating systems to run a single physical machine concurrently. Now, on my machine, that's my laptop. On my laptop, primarily I run Windows OS. Now, what if I want to run Windows and I also want to run Linux? So what's going to help me to do that? That's where that virtualization technology comes into play. That's one operating system will be the main one. The another one will be running as like a virtual machine. Both of them should be working at the same time. Now, we have different types of virtual machine. Before we move to that, a hypervisor, also known as virtual machine monitor, creates and manages virtual machines, which are independent environment running on the same physical hardware, your host machine. Your host machine is the one that we have here. So now, there's types of hypervisors. We have bare metal hypervisor, we have hosted hypervisor. So now, for the purpose of this course, or from the way I'm going to be explaining to you, we are interested in this type 2 hypervisor. Type 2 hypervisor, that's hosted hypervisor. This type runs on top of an operating system, leveraging its kernel for resource management. It's essentially an application within the host OS. Example is VM Workstation, Oracle VirtualBox, and Parallels Desktop. Yeah, I know I'm like moving fast, but I'll break it down in such a way that you understand it properly. We have two types of hypervisors. We have type 1, which is the bare metal hypervisor. We have type 2, which is the hosted hypervisor. It's very simple. You understand the hosted hypervisor very, very well. Now, assume that you have a phone now. Your phone is Android, right? But inside that Android, okay, no, let us Android. Your phone is iOS, that's Apple. Inside that iOS, you want it to be running Android at the same time. You now go and download an application. That application, name of that application is Android application. Mind you, I say you're using iPhone. You know, iPhone and Android are not the same thing now. So now, you now want to run an Android. You want to run an Android environment in that iPhone. I'm sure you know that something is hosting that Android. Your iPhone is the one. Your iPhone is the primary OS. You now want to run Android inside. What you do? Let's say you go and download an application that is called Android. You know, if you just download the application from Google, what is Google? The App Store, Play Store. Play Store. If you go and download an application from Google Play Store, it will not work on iPhone. So what you need to do is, let's say you need to get an environment, something that will make your application that you downloaded from Google App Store. Google Play Store. I see. You're not gonna download, you're not gonna get you need to have like an environment. You need to have like an environment whereby that application that you downloaded from Google Play Store would be able to work on your Apple phone, on your iPhone. That's the meaning of hosted hypervisor. That's the meaning of hosted hypervisor. That's type 2 hypervisor. So even if you don't understand type 1 hypervisor very, very well, you should understand this type 2 hypervisor, this hosted one, because that's the one you're going to be using. That's one I will explain to you how to install. That's what tomorrow's class will be on. This VM workstation. So type 1 hypervisor, some people that are kind of like good in, maybe you've done a lot of things with computer very, very well. You may know how to use this type 1 hypervisor, like this bare metal hypervisor. Okay, let's quickly take a look here. So if you have any question, you can just put it in. Let me tell you where to put it. Under resources, please. No, under resources. Under LO. Put it under LO something. I will attend to questions now. I'll put on that attendance. I'll put on open session for attendance, so you can mark the attendance right now. So drop your questions there, so I would answer. So we'll continue shortly after we're done with that. So this time you can just go and mark your attendance for week 2. So while you are marking your attendance, I'll explain sort of about Variety Friday. Some of us don't really understand it. I will explain how the attendance work. I will explain the class grouping now. Very, very important. No, I will explain class grouping at the end. Okay, somebody is saying that. Sorry, let me stop.